Right now, as you are watching this, a massive storm system is building across the center of the United States, and it is about to unleash one of the most dangerous, severe weather outbreaks we have seen this entire year. 10 million people are already under an enhanced risk. Tornadoes rated EF2, EF3, even EF4 are on the table. Baseball-size hail, 80-mile-per-hour straight-line winds. And here is the part that should concern you the most. The worst of it is going to happen after dark when most people are asleep. If you live anywhere from Texas to Michigan, from the Ohio Valley to the Mid-Atlantic, you need to stop what you are doing and pay attention for the next few minutes. Because what I am about to break down for you city by city, hour by hour, could be the difference between being caught off guard and being fully prepared. I am going to cover more than 270 cities and locations across the United States in this forecast. I am going to give you exact timing, when the storms start in your area, when they peak, and when they finally move out. Stay with me through the entire video because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal the one specific zone where the atmosphere is showing tornado parameters we almost never see this early in the season, this far north. The numbers are genuinely alarming, and you need to know if you are inside that zone. But first, let me tell you why this setup is so unusual. And if you want to know the single biggest wild card that could make this outbreak even worse than what the models are showing, do not miss the section coming up in just a few minutes. That one detail changes everything. Let us start with what is fueling this monster. Down near Baja, California, there is a powerful low-pressure system. Think of it as a giant atmospheric pump. It is pulling massive amounts of moisture straight out of the Pacific Ocean, dragging it across Mexico, and injecting it into the southern United States. At the same time, a deep dip in the jet stream is plunging south from Canada, bringing bitter cold air and increasing wind shear across the entire region. When you slam tropical moisture from the south into Arctic air from the north and then add wind shear on top of it, you get the classic recipe for a violent, severe weather outbreak. And that is exactly what is happening right now. Here is the number that tells the story. The convectively available potential energy, which meteorologists call CAPE, is surging northward across the Midwest. Think of CAPE as thunderstorm fuel. The higher the number, the more explosive the storms can become. Right now, the models are showing CAPE values that are off the charts for early March. We are talking about levels you typically do not see until late April or May. That is how anomalous this pattern is. Spring fever has turned into full-blown summer heat across huge sections of the country, and that heat is loading the atmosphere like a coiled spring ready to snap. Now here is where it gets really interesting and honestly a little scary. On top of all that instability, we have a warm front lifting northward across Illinois and Indiana. This is the exact same type of setup that produced that violent EF3 tornado in Michigan just days ago. Remember that? There was only a 2% probability of tornadoes in Michigan that day, 2%. And we still got a deadly EF3 that tore through communities. So when I tell you the probabilities are significantly higher for tomorrow, I need you to understand what that means. It means the atmosphere is even more primed for destruction this time around. Let me break down exactly where and when. Tuesday is going to be the big day. We have two separate threat zones, and both of them are dangerous in different ways. I am calling them the Northern Corridor and the Southern Corridor. Let me walk you through each one. The Northern Corridor stretches from central Illinois through northwest Indiana and right into the Chicago metropolitan area. This is the primary tornado threat zone. The Storm Prediction Center has issued an enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5, for this entire region. Cities directly in the crosshairs include Chicago, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, Peoria, Illinois, Bloomington, Illinois, Joliet, Illinois, Quincy, Illinois, Decatur, Illinois, Champaign, Illinois, Urbana, Illinois, Normal, Illinois, Galesburg, Illinois, Macomb, Illinois, Jacksonville, Illinois, Danville, Illinois, Kankakee, Illinois, Lafayette, Indiana, Logansport, Indiana, Kokomo, Indiana, Muncie, Indiana, Anderson, Indiana, Crawfordsville, Indiana, Frankfort, Indiana, Peru, Indiana, Marion, Indiana, Wabash, Indiana, and every small town, every rural community, every farm in between. Now here is the detail I promised you. The significant tornado parameter around Peoria, Illinois is showing values near 8.5 tomorrow evening. Let me put that in perspective. A value of 5 is considered very high. We are looking at 8.5. That number takes into account wind shear, cape, low-level jet strength, and moisture, and it combines them into a single value that tells us how favorable the environment is for significant tornadoes. When you see numbers like that, and a storm actually forms inside that environment, the probability of a strong to violent tornado skyrockets. I have rarely seen numbers this high, this far north, this early in the season. That is the detail that changes everything about this forecast. The timing for the northern corridor is critical. Storms will begin to develop during the late afternoon hours, roughly between 3:30 and 4:30 in the afternoon Central Time. The most dangerous window opens between 4 in the afternoon and 7 in the evening Central Time. That is when discrete supercells, the type of storms most likely to produce strong tornadoes, will be firing along and near the warm front. But here is the twist that makes this even more dangerous. The storms are not going to stop at sunset. They are going to continue pushing eastward through the overnight hours. By 9 in the evening, 10 in the evening, even midnight, these supercells will still be churning across Indiana. This is going to be an after-dark tornado event for many locations. And that is when tornadoes are most deadly because people are asleep and cannot see them coming. If you live in Chicago, your window of concern begins around 5 in the evening and extends through midnight. If you are in Springfield, it starts earlier, around 4 in the afternoon, and the worst will be between 5 and 8 in the evening. Peoria, same time frame, 4 to 8 in the evening for the highest threat, but do not let your guard down until after midnight. For Lafayette, Indiana, the storms arrive later, likely between 7 and 11 in the evening. Bloomington, Illinois, you are looking at 4:30 to 9 in the evening as your prime threat window. Kokomo, Indiana, 8 in the evening through 1 in the morning. Champaign, Illinois, 5 in the evening through 10 in the evening. Do not miss what is coming next because the southern corridor is a completely different animal and the hail threat down there is absolutely monstrous. The southern corridor centers on Texas, stretching from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex down through San Angelo and extending toward Del Rio near the Mexican border. This region is also under an enhanced risk, and while the tornado threat is slightly lower than the northern corridor, it is absolutely still there. We could see a couple of strong tornadoes between Dallas and San Angelo, but the headline threat in Texas is going to be giant hail. We are talking about hailstones potentially exceeding baseball size. That is 3 inches in diameter or larger. Imagine chunks of ice the size of your fist falling from the sky at over 100 miles per hour. That will total a car in seconds. That will punch through a roof. That will injure or kill anyone caught outside. Cities in the southern corridor threat zone include Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, San Angelo, Texas, Abilene, Texas, Stephenville, Texas, Brownwood, Texas, Del Rio, Texas, Waco, Texas, Killeen, Texas, Temple, Texas, Corsicana, Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas, Mineral Wells, Texas, Weatherford, Texas, Granbury, Texas, Cleburne, Texas, Hillsborough, Texas, and all surrounding communities. Timing for Texas. Storms will initiate during the mid to late afternoon, around 3 to 5 in the afternoon Central Time. The peak threat window runs from 5 in the evening through 10 in the evening. Dallas-Fort Worth, your highest risk period is between 6 and 10 in the evening. San Angelo, storms arrive a bit earlier between 4 and 8 in the evening. Abilene, 5 to 9 in the evening. The storms will gradually weaken after midnight as they push eastward, but the hail threat remains significant through the late evening hours. Now let me tell you about something that a lot of people are going to overlook, and I do not want you to be one of them. There is a reason the temperatures matter so much in this setup, and it is not just about the heat. Tomorrow, temperatures in Springfield, Illinois are going to soar into the low 80s, 80 degrees in central Illinois in early March. That is borderline record territory. Meanwhile, just a couple hundred miles north near Chicago, temperatures will be hovering around 30 to 40 degrees for much of the day before the warm air surges in. That temperature contrast, a 50-degree difference over a relatively short distance, creates an incredibly sharp boundary. When supercell thunderstorms interact with a boundary like that, they can rapidly intensify. The rotation tightens, the updraft strengthens, and the tornado potential goes through the roof. From Houston, Texas, all the way up through Dallas, Oklahoma City, Kansas City, St. Louis, Springfield, and approaching Chicago, temperatures will be near 80 degrees. Dew points, which measure moisture in the air, will be in the 60s and 70s. That is tropical level moisture being pumped all the way into the heart of the Midwest in March. The warm sector, the area of warm, moist air out ahead of the cold front, is abnormally wide. Most storm systems have a narrow ribbon of warm, moist air. This one has a massive swath of it extending hundreds of miles ahead of the cold front. That means storms forming anywhere in that zone will have abundant fuel to work with. There will be no shortage of energy. If a storm can form, it is going to be strong, period. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Is there any chance this does not happen? Is there a scenario where we dodge this? Let me be honest with you. There are two potential failure modes. First, convective inhibition. There is a cap on the atmosphere like a lid on a pot of boiling water. If that lid does not break, storms simply will not form. That is possible. Second, the storms could struggle to route properly on the warm front and instead become primarily hail producers rather than tornado producers. That would still mean giant destructive hail, but it would reduce the tornado threat. However, and this is important, the models are becoming increasingly confident that the cap will break. And when it does, the atmosphere is going to erupt. Let us shift now to Wednesday because the threat does not end when the sun comes up. It actually expands. By Wednesday, the severe weather threat marches eastward and affects an even larger population. The cold front is going to sweep across the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and into the mid-Atlantic. The Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, for a massive area stretching from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania down through Nashville, Tennessee, and all the way to the Gulf Coast. Here is the critical difference between Tuesday and Wednesday. On Tuesday, the primary threat is discrete supercells producing tornadoes and giant hail. On Wednesday, the storms are going to congeal into a squall line, a solid wall of thunderstorms stretching hundreds of miles. The primary hazard shifts to damaging straight-line winds. We are talking about widespread wind gusts of 60 to 80 miles per hour or even higher. That is enough to snap trees like toothpicks, bring down power lines across entire counties, and cause structural damage to homes and businesses. But do not let the shift to a squall line fool you into thinking the tornado threat is gone. Embedded tornadoes, tornadoes that spin up within the squall line and are nearly invisible on radar, are absolutely possible, and rogue supercells could break free ahead of the main line, creating isolated but intense tornado threats in areas that might not be expecting them. Wednesday, city by city. Here we go. Nashville, Tennessee. Storms arrive Wednesday morning and continue through the afternoon. Peak threat window is 10 in the morning through 4 in the afternoon. Memphis, Tennessee. The storms will be ongoing from early Wednesday morning, say 6 in the morning, and push through by noon. This is going to feel like a continuation of the active weather that has been pounding the region. Cincinnati, Ohio. The squall line arrives Wednesday afternoon between 1 and 5 in the evening. Damaging winds are the primary concern. Louisville, Kentucky, noon through 5 in the evening Wednesday. Expect strong to severe storms with gusty winds and the possibility of an embedded tornado. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The line arrives late Wednesday afternoon into the evening. Between 4 and 8 in the evening, winds will be the headline here. Columbus, Ohio, 2 in the afternoon through 7 in the evening. Straight line winds and heavy rain. Cleveland, Ohio, 3 in the afternoon through 8 in the evening. The storms may arrive as a solid wall of wind and rain. Indianapolis, Indiana. Early Wednesday morning from midnight through 8 in the morning. These will be the overnight storms rolling through from Tuesday night. Then a secondary line could arrive Wednesday afternoon. Lexington, Kentucky, noon through 5 in the evening. Jackson, Mississippi, Wednesday morning, 7 through noon. Birmingham, Alabama, midday through the evening, 11 in the morning through 6 in the evening. Montgomery, Alabama, noon through 7 in the evening. Atlanta, Georgia, late Wednesday night into Thursday morning. The tail end of the system could bring strong storms between 10 in the evening Wednesday and 4 in the morning Thursday. Huntsville, Alabama, 10 in the morning through 4 in the afternoon Wednesday. Chattanooga, Tennessee, noon through 6 in the evening. Knoxville, Tennessee, 1 in the afternoon through 7 in the evening. Evansville, Indiana, early Wednesday morning, 2 in the morning through 9 in the morning. Bowling Green, Kentucky, 9 in the morning through 3 in the afternoon. Paducah, Kentucky, 7 in the morning through 1 in the afternoon. Jackson, Tennessee, 8 in the morning through 2 in the afternoon. Tupelo, Mississippi, 8 in the morning through 1 in the afternoon. Little Rock, Arkansas, early Wednesday morning, 3 in the morning through 10 in the morning. Jonesboro, Arkansas, 5 in the morning through noon. Springfield, Missouri, 1 in the morning through 8 in the morning. Joplin, Missouri, midnight through 7 in the morning. Cape Girardeau, Missouri, 4 in the morning through 11 in the morning. Dayton, Ohio, 1 in the afternoon through 6 in the evening. Akron, Ohio, 3 in the afternoon through 8 in the evening. Youngstown, Ohio, 4 in the afternoon through 9 in the evening. Parkersburg, West Virginia, 3 in the afternoon through 8 in the evening. Charleston, West Virginia, 4 in the afternoon through 9 in the evening. Morgantown, West Virginia, 5 in the evening through 10 in the evening. And I am not done yet. Let me give you the timing for the Thursday threat because this system has a long tail. As the squall line reaches the Appalachian Mountains and the eastern seaboard on Thursday, there could be yet another round of severe weather for the Carolinas, Virginia, and the coastal mid-Atlantic. Charlotte, North Carolina, Thursday morning, 6 in the morning through noon. Raleigh, North Carolina, Thursday morning through early afternoon, 8 in the morning through 2 in the afternoon. Columbia, South Carolina, 7 in the morning through 1 in the afternoon. Greenville, South Carolina, 6 in the morning through noon. Richmond, Virginia, Thursday afternoon, noon through 5 in the evening. Virginia Beach, Virginia, Thursday afternoon, 1 through 6 in the evening. Washington, District of Columbia, Thursday afternoon, noon through 5 in the evening. Baltimore, Maryland, Thursday afternoon, noon through 5 in the evening. Wilmington, North Carolina, 9 in the morning through 3 in the afternoon. Fayetteville, North Carolina, 8 in the morning through 2 in the afternoon. Charleston, South Carolina, 9 in the morning through 3 in the afternoon. Savannah, Georgia, 8 in the morning through 2 in the afternoon. Jacksonville, Florida. The panhandle of Florida and northeast Florida could see storms Thursday morning through the afternoon, 8 in the morning through 2 in the afternoon. Tallahassee, Florida, same time frame. Pensacola, Florida, Thursday morning, 6 through noon. Mobile, Alabama, Thursday morning, 5 through 11 in the morning. Now let me circle back to some cities I have not yet covered because I want to make sure nobody is left out of this forecast. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Tuesday afternoon and evening, storms could clip your area between 4 and 9 in the evening. The primary threat is large hail and gusty winds with an isolated tornado possible. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Similar time frame, 4 through 9 in the evening Tuesday. Norman, Oklahoma, 4 through 9 in the evening. Lawton, Oklahoma, 3 through 8 in the evening. Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas. Tuesday evening, 5 through 11 in the evening. Storms will be pushing through the metro. Topeka, Kansas, 4 through 9 in the evening Tuesday. Wichita, Kansas, 3 through 8 in the evening, primarily a hail and wind threat. Des Moines, Iowa. The northern fringe of the threat could bring strong storms Tuesday evening between 6 and midnight. Omaha, Nebraska, marginal risk, but cannot rule out a storm or two Tuesday evening. St. Louis, Missouri, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, 8 in the evening through 4 in the morning. This city sits right in the transition zone and could see storms from both the Tuesday evening supercells and the Wednesday morning squall line. Columbia, Missouri, Tuesday evening 6 through midnight. Jefferson City, Missouri, similar timing. Kirksville, Missouri, 5 through 10 in the evening Tuesday. Fort Wayne, Indiana, Tuesday night 9 in the evening through 3 in the morning Wednesday. South Bend, Indiana, 9 in the evening through 2 in the morning. Terre Haute, Indiana, 7 in the evening through midnight. Bloomington, Indiana, 7 through midnight Tuesday. Gary, Indiana, 6 in the evening through midnight. Hammond, Indiana, same as Gary. Michigan City, Indiana, 7 in the evening through 1 in the morning. Grand Rapids, Michigan, late Tuesday night into early Wednesday, 11 in the evening through 5 in the morning. Detroit, Michigan, overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, midnight through 6 in the morning. Ann Arbor, Michigan, same time frame. Lansing, Michigan, 11 in the evening through 5 in the morning. Kalamazoo, Michigan, 10 in the evening through 4 in the morning. Toledo, Ohio, midnight through 6 in the morning Wednesday. Sandusky, Ohio, 1 in the morning through 7 in the morning Wednesday. Here is something else that a lot of people are going to miss. Flash flooding. With storms training over the same areas, meaning multiple rounds of storms hitting the same locations, there is a significant flash flooding threat from Missouri through Kentucky and into southern Illinois and Indiana. The ground in many of these areas is already saturated from recent rainfall. It will not take much additional rain to push rivers and creeks over their banks. If you live in a flood-prone area, do not drive through flooded roads. Turn around, do not drown. More people die in flash floods every year than in tornadoes. And if you thought the severe weather was the only story, there is more. North of the warm front, where the atmosphere is still cold, we are looking at an ice storm for parts of Michigan. the Upper Peninsula, Wisconsin, and into southern Ontario and Quebec. Up to an inch of ice accumulation is possible. That is enough to bring down trees and power lines across wide areas. If you live in northern Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, or northern Wisconsin, you could be dealing with power outages lasting days. Ice storms are deceptively dangerous and often more destructive than people realize. Heavy snow will fall north of the ice, with significant accumulations possible across parts of northern Wisconsin, northern Michigan, and into southern Canada. This is not going to be a light dusting. Blizzard-like conditions are possible in some of these areas. Before I move on, let me slow down and talk to those of you in a few more cities that I know are watching right now because I do not want anyone left in the dark. Rockford, Illinois. You are on the northern edge of the enhanced risk zone. Storms could reach you between 5 in the evening and 11 in the evening Tuesday. You are close enough to that warm front boundary that any storm passing through your area could rapidly intensify. Do not assume you are too far north to get a tornado. That Michigan EF3 last week proved that storms can be violent even at the fringe of the risk area. Your peak window is 7 through 10 in the evening, peak in Illinois. You are essentially in the same zone as Peoria. Everything I said about Peoria applies to you. 4 in the afternoon through midnight, be ready. Mattoon, Illinois. You sit in that transition zone between the northern and southern storm modes. Storms could arrive between 5 and 10 in the evening Tuesday. Effingham, Illinois, same story. Charleston, Illinois, same window. Ottawa, Illinois. 5 in the evening through 11 in the evening, you are in the hatched zone for significant tornadoes. Pontiac, Illinois, between Bloomington and Chicago on Interstate 55. Storms hit between 4:30 and 9 in the evening. This stretch of highway could be extremely dangerous during the storm window. If you are traveling on Interstate 55, Interstate 74, Interstate 72, or Interstate 57 tomorrow evening, I am begging you to delay your travel. Do not be on the road during the peak threat window. Every single year, people die in their vehicles during severe weather events because they tried to drive through it. Pull over at a sturdy building, get inside, wait it out. Vincennes, Indiana, 7 in the evening through 1 in the morning Wednesday. Bedford, Indiana, same time frame. Seymour, Indiana, 8 in the evening through 2 in the morning. Richmond, Indiana, 9 in the evening through 3 in the morning Wednesday. You are at the tail end of the Tuesday supercell track as storms push into western Ohio. Lima, Ohio, midnight through 6 in the morning Wednesday. Findlay, Ohio, 1 in the morning through 7 in the morning. Mansfield, Ohio, 2 in the morning through 8 in the morning. These are all overnight threats, and that is what makes them so dangerous. Now let me circle back to something I mentioned earlier about the warm sector being abnormally wide, because there is a detail here that most people are not talking about, and it could be the difference maker in this event. In a typical severe weather setup, the warm, moist air ahead of the cold front occupies a narrow band, maybe 100 to 150 miles wide. Storms pop up along the front, do their damage, and the cold air rushes in behind them. But in this setup, the warm sector is fat. It extends 300 to 400 miles ahead of the cold front. That means storms are not just going to form along the front. They are going to form way out ahead of it, along the warm front, in the warm sector, and even in areas that would normally be considered safe distance from the action. What does that mean for you? It means if you live in eastern Indiana, western Ohio, or even central Ohio, you might think you are too far from the cold front to worry. You would be wrong. Storms will be popping up in your area as the warm front destabilizes the atmosphere above you. And those storms will have just as much energy to work with as the ones forming closer to the cold front. Maybe even more, because they will have uninterrupted access to that deep Gulf moisture without any interference from the cold air. This is also why the flash flooding threat is so serious. When the warm sector is this wide, storms have room to train. Training means one storm after another passes over the same location, like train cars on a track. Each storm dumps another inch or two of rain on the same spot. Before you know it, you have 4, 5, 6 inches of rain in just a few hours, and the creeks and rivers cannot handle it. Cities with elevated flash flood risk include but are not limited to Springfield, Illinois, Decatur, Illinois, Terre Haute, Indiana, Evansville, Indiana, Paducah, Kentucky, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, Poplar Bluff, Missouri, Sikeston, Missouri, Carbondale, Illinois, Mount Vernon, Illinois, Marion, Illinois, Harrisburg, Illinois, Owensboro, Kentucky, Henderson, Kentucky, Madisonville, Kentucky, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and all surrounding communities, if you live in a low-lying area near a creek or in a known flood zone, have a plan to move to higher ground quickly. Do not wait until the water is at your door. Flash floods can rise in minutes. Now here is one more thing I want to address. Some of you are in areas where the risk looks lower on the maps, maybe a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, or a slight risk, level 2 out of 5. I need you to understand that those lower risk levels do not mean you are safe. They mean the probability of severe weather at any given point within that zone is lower, but severe weather can and does happen in marginal and slight risk areas. That deadly EF3 in Michigan, it happened in a zone that was only a 2% probability. Numbers on a map do not protect you. Only preparation protects you. Let me also speak directly to our friends in a few more cities across the broader risk area. Tupelo, Mississippi. Monday evening into Tuesday morning, there is already a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather in your area. The main threats tonight are damaging winds and large hail, with an isolated tornado possible. Your window of concern is from this evening through about midnight. Then on Wednesday, you face another round of storms from 8 in the morning through 1 in the afternoon. Birmingham, Alabama. Same situation tonight, storms rolling through the area this evening with hail and gusty winds. Then another round Wednesday from 11 in the morning through 6 in the evening. You are getting hit twice this week. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Tonight and again Wednesday. Do not let your guard down between rounds. Columbus, Mississippi, Greenwood, Mississippi, Starkville, Mississippi, all under that Monday evening threat tonight and then again Wednesday morning. Meridian, Mississippi, Montgomery, Alabama, both facing threats tonight and again on Wednesday. That is 2 separate rounds of severe weather within 72 hours. For those of you in northern Alabama and middle Tennessee, you are going to feel like you are getting hammered by waves of storms all week, and honestly, you are. There is a complex of storms already moving through the region tonight, a mesoscale convective system, which is basically a massive organized cluster of thunderstorms. That blob of storms is going to push through North Alabama this evening, bringing lightning, hail, strong winds, and even a couple of isolated embedded tornadoes. Then you get a break Tuesday before the Wednesday system rolls through with another round. It is going to be an exhausting week, but the key is to stay vigilant through every round. Atlanta, Georgia. You might think you are on the periphery of all this, and for the most part you are. But that mesoscale convective system tonight could push into the northern suburbs by late evening, bringing gusty winds and heavy rain. And then, late Wednesday night into Thursday morning, the tail end of the squall line could impact the metro area. Keep your alerts on. Pensacola, Florida, Panama City, Florida, Tallahassee, Florida. You are on the southern edge of the Wednesday and Thursday threats. Storms could push through your area Thursday morning. Do not ignore the forecast just because Florida is not usually associated with Midwest severe weather outbreaks. This system is large enough to affect you. Now, here is another group of cities I need to cover because they are right in the path and I have not given you specific timing yet. Bloomington, Indiana. Not to be confused with Bloomington, Illinois. Tuesday night, 7 in the evening through midnight. The supercells pushing out of Illinois will be tracking right through your area. If you are a student at Indiana University, know where your nearest shelter is inside your dorm or apartment building. Do not wait until the sirens go off to figure that out. Munster, Indiana. Valparaiso, Indiana. Crown Point, Indiana. You are in the greater Chicago metro severe weather zone. 6 in the evening through midnight Tuesday, Michigan City, Indiana. 7 in the evening through 1 in the morning Wednesday. Elkhart, Indiana. 9 in the evening through 3 in the morning, South Bend, Indiana. If you are at Notre Dame or anywhere in the metro, 9 in the evening through 2 in the morning is your window. Have your alerts on and be ready to move to shelter. Danville, Illinois. 5 in the evening through 10 in the evening. You are sitting right on the Illinois-Indiana border, right in the heart of the enhanced risk. Zanesville, Ohio. 3 in the morning through 9 in the morning Wednesday. Newark, Ohio. Same window. Lancaster, Ohio. 3 in the morning through 9 in the morning. Now let me talk about what happens after this system moves through, because the pattern is not calming down. A Clipper system is diving down from Canada on Friday into Saturday, bringing another round of wintry weather to the Great Lakes and the Northeast. Snow chances return for cities like Buffalo, New York, Rochester, New York, Syracuse, New York, Albany, New York, Burlington, Vermont, Portland, Maine, Boston, Massachusetts, Hartford, Connecticut, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania, Marquette, Michigan, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Duluth, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, and then the big one. Another powerful storm system is showing up in the models for Sunday into Monday of next week. This one could bring another severe weather threat along with a dramatic temperature crash. After riding temperatures in the 70s and 80s, we are going to plummet to well below average by the middle of next week. Winter is going to make a comeback. Snow could return to the Great Lakes and the interior Northeast. Blizzard-like conditions are possible through parts of the Midwest. The temperature swing could be 40 to 50 degrees in some locations over just 2 or 3 days. That is going to shock your system. That is going to shock the power grid. And that is going to create another round of hazardous conditions. Let me now run through additional cities quickly so everyone has their timing. Houston, Texas. Tuesday afternoon and evening, isolated strong storms possible from 4 through 9 in the evening. San Antonio, Texas. Tuesday afternoon, 3 through 8 in the evening. Hail is the primary concern. Austin, Texas. 3 through 8 in the evening Tuesday. Shreveport, Louisiana. Late Tuesday night, 10 in the evening through 4 in the morning Wednesday. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Wednesday morning, 4 through 10 in the morning, New Orleans, Louisiana. Wednesday morning, 6 through noon, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Wednesday morning, 7 through 1 in the afternoon, Meridian, Mississippi. Wednesday morning, 8 through 2 in the afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Wednesday, 10 in the morning through 4 in the afternoon, Dothan, Alabama. Wednesday afternoon, 1 through 7 in the evening, Macon, Georgia. Wednesday evening, 4 through 10 in the evening, Augusta, Georgia. Late Wednesday night, 8 in the evening through 2 in the morning, Thursday, Greenwood, Mississippi. Wednesday morning, 7 through noon, Columbus, Mississippi. Wednesday, 9 in the morning through 3 in the afternoon, Starkville, Mississippi, same as Columbus. Oxford, Mississippi. Wednesday morning, 7 through noon, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Wednesday morning, 4 through 10 in the morning, Hot Springs, Arkansas. 3 in the morning through 9 in the morning Wednesday. Fort Smith, Arkansas. 1 in the morning through 8 in the morning Wednesday. Fayetteville, Arkansas. Midnight through 7 in the morning Wednesday. Springfield, Tennessee. Wednesday, 9 in the morning through 3 in the afternoon, Clarksville, Tennessee. 9 in the morning through 3 in the afternoon, Cookeville, Tennessee. Noon through 6 in the evening, Crossville, Tennessee. 1 through 7 in the evening, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. 10 in the morning through 4 in the afternoon, Franklin, Tennessee. 10 in the morning through 4 in the afternoon. Now, I need you to do something for me. If your city was not mentioned, drop a comment right now with the name of your city and state. I will personally respond with your specific forecast timing and threat level. I want every single person watching this to know exactly what is coming their way. Do not scroll past this without commenting. Your neighbors need to see this information too. Share this video with anyone you know who lives in the affected areas. It could save a life. Let me repeat the most critical information because I know some of you just tuned in or skipped ahead. Tuesday, March 10th, 2 threat zones. Northern Corridor, Central Illinois through Northwest Indiana, including Chicago. Severe storms with tornadoes, some potentially EF2 or stronger. Giant hail. Peak timing 4 in the afternoon through midnight Central Time. Southern Corridor, Dallas-Fort Worth through San Angelo, Texas. Primarily giant hail, possibly baseball size or larger, with a couple of tornadoes possible. Peak timing 5 in the evening through 10 in the evening Central Time. The most dangerous aspect of Tuesday is the overnight tornado threat across Indiana and into southern Michigan as supercells push eastward after dark. Wednesday, March 11th. A squall line sweeps from the Ohio Valley through the Tennessee Valley to the Gulf Coast, damaging straight-line winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour. Embedded tornadoes possible. The northern corridor of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia has the highest tornado potential on Wednesday. Flash flooding is a significant concern from Missouri through Kentucky, Thursday, March 12th. The tail end of the system impacts the Carolinas, Virginia, and the Mid-Atlantic. Severe storms possible during the afternoon hours. Depending on available instability, this could still produce damaging winds and an isolated tornado. Here is your preparation checklist. Charge all your devices tonight. Have a weather radio with fresh batteries or a phone with severe weather alerts turned on. Know where your safe space is. An interior room on the lowest floor of your home, away from windows. If you live in a mobile home, identify a sturdy building nearby where you can take shelter. Do not try to ride out a tornado in a mobile home. Have shoes near your bed. If a tornado hits in the middle of the night, you do not want to be walking through debris barefoot. Keep a flashlight within arm's reach. One more thing I want to mention. The significant tornado parameter values around Peoria, Illinois are projected to reach 8.5 by 10 in the evening tomorrow. That is an extraordinary number. When you see parameters that high and a supercell thunderstorm forms within that environment, you are looking at a very high probability of a significant tornado, EF2 or greater. The atmosphere in that region is going to be, and I do not use this word lightly, perfectly primed for rotating supercells, low-level wind shear, extreme instability, abundant moisture, a sharp warm front boundary. Every ingredient is there. If you live anywhere within 100 miles of Peoria, Illinois, you need to treat tomorrow evening and night as a serious threat to your safety. Now, for the next week and beyond, here is the big picture. After this storm system clears, temperatures will briefly drop back toward average on Thursday and Friday. Then another surge of warm air builds in for the weekend before a much more powerful cold front arrives Sunday into Monday. That front is going to bring the coldest air we have felt in weeks. Below average temperatures will lock in across much of the eastern United States by the middle of next week. Snow and potentially blizzard conditions return to the Great Lakes and northern Midwest. The back and forth between summer-like warmth and winter cold is a hallmark of an extremely active severe weather pattern, and it is showing no signs of slowing down. For those of you in the western United States who might be thinking this does not affect you, keep watching. That powerful system coming next weekend is going to impact the northern plains first, and there could be a severe weather component to that as well. Rapid City, South Dakota, Bismarck, North Dakota, Fargo, North Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Pierre, South Dakota. These cities should be monitoring the models for next weekend. Let me also quickly run through the snow and ice threat for our northern viewers because this is going to be significant for some of you. Marquette, Michigan, 6 to 10 inches of snow possible with blizzard-like conditions from late Tuesday through Wednesday morning. Travel could become impossible on US 41 and Michigan Route 28. Houghton, Michigan, same story, heavy snow and blowing winds. Iron Mountain, Michigan, heavy snow accumulations possible. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, ice initially transitioning to heavy snow. Traverse City, Michigan, a mix of ice and snow, potentially 3 to 5 inches. Alpena, Michigan. Similar accumulations with icy conditions underneath. Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Heavy snow expected, potentially 6 to 8 inches. Wausau, Wisconsin. 4 to 6 inches of snow. Eau Claire, Wisconsin. On the southern fringe, 2 to 4 inches possible. Duluth, Minnesota. The backside of the system could bring 3 to 5 inches of snow with gusty winds. And that ice storm I mentioned across parts of lower Michigan and southern Ontario, this is no joke. Up to an inch of ice on power lines, tree branches, and roadways. That kind of ice load will bring down trees and knock out power to potentially hundreds of thousands of people. If you live in the greater Saginaw, Bay City, Midland area of Michigan, or Flint or Lansing, prepare for the possibility of power outages lasting 24 to 48 hours. Have water stored. Have non-perishable food ready. If you rely on electric heat, have a backup plan. If you use a generator, never run it inside your home or garage. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every single winter storm. Now let me also give some timing for a few cities that sit on the edges of this system that people always forget about. Amarillo, Texas. You are on the dry side of this system and will likely see wind but minimal precipitation. However, there could be blowing dust ahead of the front Tuesday afternoon. Lubbock, Texas. Marginal severe risk. Tuesday afternoon with gusty winds possible. Nothing compared to what Dallas is facing, but stay aware. Midland, Texas. Odessa, Texas. Mostly wind. The severe threat stays east of you, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I mentioned you earlier, but let me add this. If the Tuesday evening storms do develop a supercell mode near your metro, the urban heat island effect could actually enhance low-level convergence and increase tornado potential right over the metro. Pay attention between 4 and 9 in the evening. Little Rock, Arkansas. I gave you Wednesday morning timing earlier, but Tuesday night you could also get clipped by storms pushing south out of Missouri between midnight and 4 in the morning. 2 separate rounds possible. Texarkana, Texas, and Arkansas. Tuesday night, 11 in the evening through 5 in the morning Wednesday. You are in the gap between the northern and southern corridors, but do not assume you are safe. Storms could easily fill that gap. Longview, Texas. Tyler, Texas. Late Tuesday night, 10 in the evening through 4 in the morning Wednesday. Lufkin, Texas. Nacogdoches, Texas. Overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, midnight through 6 in the morning. Lake Charles, Louisiana. Wednesday morning, 3 through 9 in the morning. Baton Rouge, 4 through 10 in the morning. Lafayette, Louisiana, 4 through 9 in the morning. Biloxi, Mississippi. Gulfport, Mississippi. Wednesday morning, 6 through noon. Now, here is one more thing that keeps me up at night about this event. The timing of the most dangerous storms coincides with the overnight hours across Indiana and parts of Ohio and Michigan. Studies have shown that nighttime tornadoes are 2.5 times more likely to be fatal than daytime tornadoes. The reason is obvious. People are asleep. They cannot see the tornado coming. They may not hear the sirens if they are in a deep sleep or have their windows closed. This is why I cannot stress enough that you need an active alerting system that will wake you up. A weather radio with the alarm function turned on. Your smartphone with severe weather alerts enabled. Both of those together would be even better. Do not rely on outdoor sirens alone. They are designed to warn people who are outside, not people sleeping inside their homes. If you have elderly family members, neighbors who live alone, or anyone in your life who might not have access to reliable weather alerts, call them today. Tell them about this threat. Help them prepare. Sometimes the most important thing you can do during a severe weather outbreak is not protect yourself. It is making sure the people around you are also ready. I also want to take a moment to speak to parents. If your children are in school tomorrow in the affected areas, check with the school about their severe weather plan. Most schools have shelter-in-place procedures and teachers are trained to move students to interior hallways. But the Tuesday storms may not arrive until after school hours. So it is the evening and overnight period when your family is at home that you need to be most prepared for. Have a plan for where everyone goes. Practice it tonight if you have not already. And for those of you who live in manufactured homes or mobile homes, I am going to be direct. A mobile home is not safe during a tornado period. Even an EF1 tornado can destroy a manufactured home. You need to identify a sturdy building within driving distance where you can go before the storms arrive. A neighbor's house with a basement, a community shelter, a school, a church, whatever it is, know where it is and go there before the storms hit, not during. And I will say this, we are entering the time of year when severe weather outbreaks can happen any week. This is the new reality of March. The jet stream is active, the Gulf moisture is available, and the atmosphere is loaded with energy. If you do not already have a severe weather plan, today is the day to make one. Know your county, know your warning types, know where to take shelter. This is not about fear, this is about preparation. You cannot control the weather, but you can control how ready you are when it arrives. Here is what I want you to do right now. First, comment below with your city and state so I can give you a personalized forecast. Second, share this video with at least one person who lives in the affected areas. Third, make sure your phone alerts are turned on or your weather radio is plugged in and working. Fourth, if you are in the enhanced risk zone for tomorrow, charge your devices, have your safe room identified, and be ready to act when warnings are issued. In my next video, I am going to break down exactly what happens when this system clears and that big cold shot arrives next week. We are watching signals for a potential late-season winter storm that could impact tens of millions of people. Is winter really coming back for one more round in the middle of March? The models are saying yes, and the details are going to surprise you. Make sure you do not miss that one. Now, before I go, let me give you the complete rainfall forecast because this ties directly into the flooding threat. Over the next 10 days, we are looking at widespread rainfall totals of 2 to 4 inches across much of the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the lower Mississippi Valley. But in areas where storms train, meaning repeated storms pass over the same location, totals could easily reach 5 to 7 inches. That is a tremendous amount of rain for areas that are already dealing with saturated ground from recent systems. Rivers and creeks that are already running high could reach moderate to major flood stage by late this week. Specific river flooding concerns include the Wabash River in Indiana, the Illinois River in Illinois, the Green River in Kentucky, the Cumberland River in Tennessee, the Duck River in Tennessee, and numerous tributaries of the Ohio River from Louisville all the way down to Cairo, Illinois. If you live near any of these waterways, monitor river gauges closely over the coming days. The National Weather Service will be issuing river flood watches and warnings as conditions develop. For those of you who have basements, now is the time to make sure your sump pump is working. Check the battery backup if you have one. Move valuables off the basement floor if you are in a flood-prone area. A little preparation now can save you thousands of dollars in damage later. Let me also address one more group of cities that I want to make sure gets specific timing. These are cities in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast that might see the very tail end of this system by Thursday and into Friday. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thursday afternoon, the last remnants of the squall line could bring gusty winds and a brief period of heavy rain between 2 and 7 in the evening. Severe weather is not the primary concern for you, but gusty winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour are possible. New York City. Thursday evening, the front passes through with strong winds and rain between 4 and 9 in the evening. Not expecting severe weather, but it will be a raw, blustery evening commute. Hartford, Connecticut. Thursday evening into overnight, 5 in the evening through midnight. Gusty winds and periods of heavy rain. Providence, Rhode Island. Same timing as Hartford, Boston, Massachusetts. Late Thursday night, 8 in the evening through 2 in the morning Friday. Mainly wind and rain. For the record, while these northeastern cities are not in the severe weather risk area, the strong, cold front passage will bring a noticeable wind event and a rapid temperature drop. Temperatures could fall 20 to 30 degrees in just a few hours behind the front. If you are planning outdoor activities late this week in the Northeast, keep that in mind. Albuquerque, New Mexico, Denver, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona, Salt Lake City, Utah, Las Vegas, Nevada, Boise, Idaho, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, California, Los Angeles, California. For all of you in the western United States, this particular system does not directly impact your region. However, that follow-up system arriving next weekend could have a snow and wind component for the northern Rockies and northern plains. Denver, you could see a late-season snowfall by early next week. Montana cities like Billings, Great Falls, and Missoula should also be watching the models for next weekend. If your city still was not mentioned, drop a comment right now. I want to hear from every single one of you. Tell me your city and state, and I will respond with your specific timing and threat level. I read every single comment. This is how we look out for each other during these events. The more people we can reach, the more prepared our communities will be. Stay safe out there.